Well, good hump day morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. So let's get open for business here and let's wake up the football gods. Man, you know what? I love life. It's crazy as can be because I always have so much to do. I'm always running around. It is, I got up here at 5:30 this morning, excited about the day, even though I've got to drive 150 miles to get down there to work on the red brick house. I'm here, get my coffee, doing my Joe Boo Sports Report. I'm going to have to crawl up underneath the house, and I'm going to get dirty and dusty and everything else. But I feel so blessed that I have so much to do. I'm excited by the challenges. I'm studying for my contractor's test, my RBC test. And the next module I have is an 8-hour course. And that I've got to go through so I can get ready to take this test. So I got to study that. Me and DMV, we're doing a live stream every day. I got to get my man Prime Time and Game Time as we ramp up everything for Kansas City. And 1 week from today, DMV, David Wiley, Prime Time, Game Time, we're all headed to Kansas City. 1 week and 1 day from now is the NFL draft. I don't know about you, but it is exciting as can be. Who are the Cowboys going to draft? It's crazy because every week we got the flavor of the week. For a while, the flavor of the week was Bijan Robinson. This week, it's tight end and Michael Mayer. Was kind of Donnell Washington there for a while. Here's the reality of it is nobody really knows what the Cowboys are going to do. Nobody really knows except the Dallas Cowboys that are bunkered in. This is the misinformation campaign. This is the just guess. Because we always, and it's almost comical, it doesn't matter who the Cowboys draft. With the exception of Ceedee Lamb, I don't remember the Cowboys having a draft pick where everybody's like, yes, 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 we got that guy. Everybody's disappointed. Last year, they trashed the pick. They trashed the pick. And thank God we drafted Tyler Smith. Oh, my God, thank God we drafted him. So who knows? Who knows who we're going to draft? All I know is that first round, the Dallas Cowboys are usually butter. Second round, not so much. But I'm going to trust the process. That's right, I said it. I'm going to trust the process. I'm going to believe in Will McClay to bring us a guy that can help this team. Me and DMV last night, we were talking and getting his take and stuff. The positions that we look at and say, who can be a day one starter? Who can be a day one starter? Without a doubt, a guard in the first round. That's where your worry is, although I like DMV's thought process on it. We don't have to be married to a guard because you can get a tackle and move Tyler Smith to guard. That's a possibility. So you look at that and say, you can take the best offensive lineman. If it is a guard, you can take him, or a tackle when you get to 26. The Cowboys like to get the top prospect at a position. So I think guard would probably be more guards or less guards would be taken before the Cowboys get up. Another spot you look at, you could say if it was a tight end, possibly. Although the problem with tight ends is tight ends typically don't come out of the box great. And usually tight ends aren't drafted in the first round. Although you heard the rumors of people, the Cowboys, if Michael Mayer is there, it'd be hard for them to pass on him. Well, I heard that they were interested in Johnny Manziel too. They were going to trade up for him, but they had the opportunity to draft him, but thank God they didn't. So don't necessarily fall for the hype that is the NFL network and things. Wide receiver is possible that you could end up getting a guy that could be an immediate starter. Beyond that, you look at it and say, I don't know how many other positions that you would end up getting a plug-and-play guy. For me, what I want to get out of the draft is I want to get that instant impact player that makes your team better day one. It's day one starter. I like to get a second starter out of there. I like to get a special team standout, and I like to get some depth. If you can do those things in a draft, it's a successful draft. If you do more than that, then it's icing on the cake. Now, here's some good news. One of the worries going into the offseason where, Joe DeFan and the pundits were saying, the Cowboys, that they don't have any money. They got to sign Diggs and they've got to sign Ceedee Lamb. Diggs is on his last year of his contract because it was a second-round pick. There is no fifth-year option like there is with Ceedee. So technically, you could go ahead and exercise the fifth-year option on Ceedee and wait to do that. But there's not a reason really to wait. You've got time and space where you can extend them and keep their cap number low for the coming year. Hence, like what they did with Jalen Hurts. They are both on the radar. They're both working on those. Ceedee, they're hoping to have done before May 1st. So look, right after the draft to get those done. Typically, the Cowboys like to get their deals and stuff done, during training camp is when you usually see them do all the activity. But we're seeing a new and improved Dallas Cowboys organization that hopefully isn't waiting till the last minute to get things done, that they're trying to appease these guys, keep them happy, keep the holdouts to a minimum. We don't want to see anybody in Cabo. Get those things done and see how much more money they have to play with, and possibly see who else they can add. I will say, I believe that they're actually working on Dak Prescott's contract. You may call me crazy. You call me all kinds of things anyway. But Dak Prescott's one is kind of the linchpin for where this season goes. And I'll have more on that, later on as I'm driving down the road and putting my thoughts together with it. But you want to get that out the way. So that way you have quarterback squared away. Now we know how much money we have to work with. Okay. So we can get Diggs done. We can get Ceedee done. And then we can see how much money's left over. If Zeke's coming back, we need a couple million for him. And, now we're saying, okay, do we want to try and get some extra depth help? Do we want to get a rotation of defensive linemen, okay, because we got a little bit of money here. We can do similar to what the Eagles did, bringing in a guy like Ndamukong Suh. Ndamukong Suh's not the same guy anymore, so I'm not saying him, but a hired assassin similar to that situation to give yourself a little extra oomph. Maybe you want to put a little extra more, depth in the offensive line, a little more experience in case, Tyron Smith gets injured. I know that never happens. Or somebody else gets injured like Terrence Steele did, that you've got those guys. Or maybe, you want to do some things to make your team better all the way around. Because I want to remind you that as much as we look at just the reason we're not in Super Bowls is because of Dak Prescott, understand that we were loaded throughout the 90s Super Bowls runs with great players at every position and great backups that were part of the rotation, that guys that were backups could be starters on other teams. And we have been razor thin. We've gotten talent, but in the free agency salary cap era, it's hard to keep good backups. And that's where the Cowboys lose it. By the time the playoffs come around, they're battered and bruised. Zeke Elliott's got a hyperextended knee. You lose a Terrence Steele. You're bringing back a Tyron Smith who's playing in a position he hasn't played since a rookie year. You end up losing a Tony Pollard. And what you have behind those guys are not great players. And that's the area that the Cowboys need to work on the most. So that's great news. Dak Prescott talking about Jalen Hurts with Adam Schefter yesterday. He congratulated to Jalen Hurts. Congratulations, I'm proud of him. I'm a fan of the way he plays the game. I am not a fan of the team and when they have success necessarily, but I'm a fan of Jalen. He deserves every bit of the new contract. Yeah. Everybody, as far as a player standpoint, is ecstatic about Jalen Hurts getting paid because that means the market is growing. The thing is apparently this contract is similar to what Lamar Jackson was offered. Lamar Jackson's sticking point seems to be, I want a fully guaranteed deal.
Meanwhile, our Ravens reporter Jamison Hensley shared this bit of information yesterday, tweeting that Jalen Hurts' 5-year contract extension with the Eagles looks very similar to the offer that Lamar Jackson turned down in September, which is reported by Shefty and Mort. The total values were both in the range of $250 million. Injury guarantees around $175 million. And so one wonders then, let me come back to you here, Dan. Yeah, the impact of the Jalen Hurts contract yesterday. Again, if you're just joining us, we talked at length about it and about him. He's wonderful, one of the great stories we've seen in the league in a long time. The next question is, how does this impact Lamar in Baltimore?
So here's the issue. You saw that tweet from Jamison, right? Like the Jalen Hurts contract is like the structure that teams want to do. Like it fits. It's something similar to what Josh Allen got, and so it's sort of an approved structure. No one wants to do what the Browns did with Deshaun Watson and guarantee all that money. So the Ravens have been saying to Lamar Jackson, that Browns deal with Deshaun Watson is ridiculous. No one's done anything close to that. We want to pay you in line with the top of the rest of the market, right? With what Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray and now Jalen Hurts and these guys got. And Lamar has been insisting on much more guaranteed money. So what happened yesterday with Hurts does not help Lamar's case. He needs somebody to get close to that $230 million guaranteed that Deshaun Watson got in order to support his position that that's what he should get. And as long as no one else does it, the Ravens' position of Watson's contract's an outlier continues to win the day.
So now what, Lewis? Now what?
Yeah, I think now Lamar has to make a decision. Does he change the lens, the context with which he views himself? Or does he wait longer now? Does he wait and go, okay, you know what, Joe, Justin, you guys go. Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert,
yeah.
You guys go, and let's just see if they continue to fall in line with the same kind of structure that these deals are falling in line with, or do they start knocking on the door of Deshaun Watson's $230 million guaranteed at signing, not virtual guaranteed,
right?
Guaranteed at signing, which is, when you think about it, NFL owners are just saying, look, they've already spoken with this market.
Right.
We're not doing it. We're just not doing it. You can call us what you want. You can say we colluded. You can say whatever you want. We're not doing it, is what they're saying. But how close, how much does Joe and Justin push the envelope? How far do they push out the guaranteed money at signing envelope? And that's what Lamar right now, look, he's having to really have some very interpersonal conversations with himself about, do I need to change my stance? Or do I go ahead and play out this season, hopefully take advantage of this new surroundings that I have with OBJ and Todd Monken, new offensive coordinator, and go back and try and crack this thing again in 24. That's what he has to decide. That's a lot of things for him to think about.
And the other thing is not just about what Hurts and Burrow and Herbert are doing. Remember, the non-exclusive franchise tag, any team in the league has been able to offer Lamar Jackson a contract for the past month, and no one has. So it's not just other quarterbacks aren't asking for this, it's no other team is willing to give it to you.
So, Harry, where does that leave us? I mean, where does that leave Lamar Jackson? He's a player a lot of us are rooting for, for this to end well, and I'm just not sure I see exactly what the path is to what he wants. Harry.
I think at this particular moment, I think it's going to be what Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow also gets. If those guys, neither one of them get guaranteed contracts, then I think now Lamar Jackson has to start looking at this from a different lens, like Lewis just alluded to. And also, I will say this, the Jalen Hurts deal, I agree with you, Gross. It doesn't help Lamar's case as well. I think it helps the Baltimore Ravens more so than it does Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
But what those two guys get, and one of the dominoes has already fallen with Jalen Hurts, whatever those guys get, I think Lamar Jackson at some point is going to have to look at it through a different lens and then proceed that way.
I love how the term, everybody's saying, look at it through a new lens.
Are all falling in line with what
I look at it from a new angle.
Lamar Jackson is trying to be a market disruptor. He wants to change the way teams do contracts, and if he succeeds, that is going to be very good for all NFL players going forward. So, like, it's not a matter of are we rooting for the Ravens to win this, or are we rooting?
Right.
Like, he's trying to do something special here, and if he pulls it off, it has ripple effects long term. It just doesn't look like he's going to be able to get it done.
I fully understand what he's trying to do, and I fully understand the stance of taking, hey, look, it should not be held against me what one of you 32 did as far as negotiating that contract with Deshaun Watson.
Right.
I should not have to, like, take your explanation, which is that's just an outlier, Lamar. You need to, like, ignore that one. No, one of the guys in your little group did that.
Yeah.
So why can't I use it? Exactly. Right. Exactly. So,
What they've taught us in this process is that an outlier and a precedent are not the same thing.
Right.
And I would argue, well, it is a precedent, and they're going to say it's an outlier. I'm going to say that's not actually a thing. And they're going to say in the NFL, yes, it is.
Yep.
In the meantime, has made his way over from KJM on ESPN Radio.
There we go. So Lamar Jackson, this whole thing is about you, bro. They do not want to go forward with fully guaranteed contracts for NFL players. Just don't. So this bears watching to see what happens. Maybe Lamar plays on that franchise tag and says, screw y'all, I'm out of here, and truly becomes a free agent. I don't know where that goes from here, but from where I'm standing, Hurts' contract sounds pretty good, $175 million. If that's not enough to live the rest of your life with, I can't help you, bro. I can't help you. All right, good people, I'm going to get my behind on the road to the Red Brick House. I hope all of you guys have a great, great day, and I will see you on the road.
Our coach here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report.